Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ignite Visibility's presentation today on Google's AI overviews and what this means for the future of SEO. Today, you have myself on the line, John Lincoln, CEO of Ignite Visibility. We also have Jen Cornwell. Jen, would you like to say hello?
Hi, I'm Jen. I'm the VP of SEO here at Ignite.
And Danny, would you like to say hello?
Hi, I'm Danny, VP of Product and Marketing.
So, as we dive into this, there's been a lot that has recently changed inside of Google, and we feel like it's really important that brands recognize this. One, because it is changing what some of the conversation is in Google for a brand's name. Google and their AI overviews may actually put out some information that could change how consumers are thinking about a brand. In addition to that, it can put out information around top queries as well. So if somebody's doing a search for a non-branded term, there's a good chance there could be an AI overview. It could also be around products and other things like that. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. And the reason for that is because we want you to understand that this is going to be really important that you have a strategy for it. But taking a step back, Danny, what are these AI overviews? And talk us through them a little bit.
Yeah, these AI overviews are really innovative, and it's Google trying to give users more concise information for longer, more complex queries. So now the idea is instead of going through a lot of different web pages to try to get the answer that you're looking for, Google's doing the work for you by summarizing that into a concise AI overview at the very top of Google SERPs.
And so on the right here, we can see a example. Here are some ways to tie a bandana. It gives you a couple of different answers around the neck as a triangle, around your mouth, on your face, and then below that you can see references from the web. So this type of content is now being served much more inside of Google, and we've got some strategies for you that can help you deal with it. So now we're looking at an example here for a search around Chat GPT top prompts. Danny, what are we looking at?
Yeah, so here we're looking at how these AR overviews are impacting where normal organic listings are falling on SERPs now. So here, not only are we often seeing an AI overview show up at the top for longer queries, but we're also seeing it stacked on top of rich snippets. So a lot of questions we're getting is, are rich snippets going away? And the answer is definitely not. AR overviews are more so enhancing rich snippets by giving an answer and then giving those rich snippets below.
Thanks so much for that, Danny. So a question for you, Jen. Are AIO the same as SGE?
They are technically the same. SGA was a test. They ran through Search Labs. They were beta testing it, and then AIO is them rolling it out. And AIO stands for AI overviews to everyone, and everyone has some nuance to it, but basically rolling it out to the regular market, specifically in the US.
So Google said SGE was so well received and they found it to be helpful by users. They pushed it out from Search Labs and now it's in normal search. And so when we see how it's actually being received, what are some of the things that we're seeing inside the news, Jen?
I think a lot of SEOs specifically were really critical of it in the beginning. They're seeing a lot of inaccuracy, seeing a lot of inconsistency. This is also happening at the same time when Google's making a lot of algorithm changes. So seeing a lot of shifts in the type of content that Google thinks is helpful necessarily for users. So a lot of pushback from SEOs, but now that it's in the regular market, I think we're seeing it with normal people, non-marketers as well, who don't necessarily want to adapt to AI overviews. They're not used to it. I think in the next slide, we talk a little bit about people looking to shut it off.
So Google's rolling it out. It's out there now. Some of the responses are good, some of them are not. We are seeing it out in the open web and in some cases it's been pulled back. And it's not out there for every single query. It's only out there for a small amount of queries. And in some cases people are just turning it off. Is that right?
What you're looking at on the right is Google Trends, which is this rise in how do I turn this off, which is what a lot of people are reporting and seeing.
On the next tab, you can see if you click on webs at the toolbar at the very top, you can see search results how they used to look back in the day with just normal listings on SERPs versus the more rich results you see on the left with images and shopping ads and without AI overviews as well. So that is an option if you're trying to search without AI overviews.
And a lot of people really like the option on the right where it is just the links. And a lot of people don't like the option of the left, especially when it's got an AI overview or a response on top of it, kind of telling them what to think. But it's a mixed message. Some people like the insights from AI, some don't. The important point is that you have control, and the SERP, the search engine results, are now more dynamic. So, Jen, will AI overviews appear for all queries?
They do not appear for all queries. We are seeing them for more complex queries or questions a lot of the time when people are searching for a how to or a what is. And we're sort of moving back to this voice search format where people are actually searching entire questions instead of just phrases. But there are some other stipulations too. If you're in incognito, that's not going to produce an AI overview. There's been reports that if you're signed out of a Chrome profile in general, that's not producing an AI overview either. And some things are still coming from beta labs. It's partially rolled out, I think, and Google's still making a lot of changes as they figure out what works and what doesn't.
Really well said. And when I'm not logged in to my Google profile, I've never seen an AI overview. I've only seen it when I've been logged in, never seen it in incognito. Google pushed it out really fast, and now they're kind of testing things. And so the future's a little bit unclear. So for people who want to know how to measure visibility in AIO, how would they do that?
It's something new, right? It's a new thing that tools are trying to figure out. So a lot of keyword research tools, Ahrefs, SEMrush that we use, SE ranking have all come out with AI overview tools of some sort because of the complexity of how often the things appear. I'm hoping at some point there's an opportunity for us to see it inside of a platform like Google Search Console, where we're used to getting a lot of that SERP data. But more we're tracking it around keywords and less around pages at this point with the tools that are available.
It's also important to note that when we asked Google if we would be able to track our appearance in AI overviews, they did say that they are now aggregating this data into our Search Console clicks and impressions. However, unfortunately for SEOs, there's no way for us to know what will be coming specifically from AI overviews and what's just an organic search. It's all lumped together, but it's still important to track now that we know that this has rolled out. If you start seeing your click through rates, clicks and impressions go up or down, especially if you're seeing those AI overviews populate for a lot of your most popular queries.
The other way we could see generative engine optimization is through referral traffic. So, not traditional organic, but being able to go into your analytics and see that it's coming from platforms like ChatGPT or some of the other LLMs out there. Gemini, we can see that, but being able to see inside the AI overviews is something that still we'll have to figure out how to distinguish inside of a platform like analytics.
Awesome insights, and great that we have some tracking because it's going to be so important to brands.
This is an example of SEMrush under position tracking and the SERP features. That's where they've added in the AI overview. So you can see when you're tracking specific keywords, whether or not they're populating an AI overview.
So I love that you'll be able to see which of your URLs and keywords are creating an AI overview, and then based off of that, understand if clicks are going up or going down. From my perspective, when I see the AI overviews come out and I read the information, I almost always want to jump into a source after that and validate it and get more information. So frankly, for me, it's only increased my click-through rates, which I think could be true for some other consumers as well for certain queries. We'll see.
So also looking at SEMrush and how they've rolled this tool out, you can see whether or not a keyword has showing up inside of that AI overview, but it's a lot harder to be able to understand whether or not your site is showing up there yet. So something we've been doing inside of the keyword tracking reports for our clients is adding those keywords in where an AI overview is being generated, and then just using the tag feature so that we can filter those out, really get an understanding over time of how they're populating and whether or not we're starting to show up for them.
It's also important to note that for Ignite Visibility, it's not new to track in SEMrush under position tracking for different types of SERP features. So this is just another tool in our arsenal to now be able to track and tag and report on the visibility of our clients in AI overviews. It's really great.
So while it's great that we can see these SERP features and we understand that there are SERP features around a keyword, that's just kind of the first step. For me, the second step is understanding what the heck are they saying? What is the AI generated information around that query that's being served around the brand? And that's why it's so important that we have sentiment analysis now built into reporting, because you want to make sure that it's saying the right thing. We'll get into that more in a little bit.
So, adding in an additional SERP feature, there's a lot of controversy around that because are we taking away clicks from the organic rankings? Google says no. Google says that AI overviews should be getting more clicks, especially if they already have a traditional web listing for a query. And they confirmed this in an interview. I think this should be something we're able to see more frequently in Search Console as more of these overviews start to roll out.
It's important to note, though, that that's Google's official answer when AI overviews rolled out, right? When they were questioned about what the search impact was going to be, they said that websites that appeared in AI overviews and those link cards were actually going to get clicked on more than organic listings, but they didn't address the search impact and traffic impact on those websites who don't make it into the AI overviews. And I think that's what's really important to think about when considering what your own traffic impact is going to be.
So if there is an AI overview around a keyword or around your brand or around a question, you obviously want to try to optimize for it. So that's why it's so important to know which of the queries are serving that and to do optimization strategies that make sense.
I think the biggest impact from AIO will definitely have an impact on traffic overall, but just search behavior and how people are going to be interacting with Google. So when they get there, they had SERP features, they have faceted filters and e-commerce SERPs now, and they also have these AI overviews. So understanding what's happening around your brand, what is the information that shows up now that maybe was never there before because it's this aggregate of the internet that we've never been able to see, and understanding what that looks like, whether it's around your business or your vertical or your industry, topics you're trying to cover. I think all of that is a lot of great opportunity, but definitely something to take into account when you're looking at your traffic.
It's definitely gotten more complicated, but that's also an opportunity. And so now that we've got all these different SERP features around different industries and different business models and different categories, what's so important is that we understand, is there video? Is there categories? Is there an AI overview? And then optimize for that and plug directly into Google. So if you rank number one, will you just show up in the AI overview or are these things different?
They are different. So the algorithm is what Google uses to understand how to rank things organically inside of search results that are traditional, what we're familiar with. But the LLM that's running the AI overviews is it's a different model. It's got a different system. We're still trying to understand exactly what fuels everything, but ranking number one does not correlate to AI overview visibility.
And you see this example on this slide, right? What's ranking organically on the right hand side, which are really high authority websites too. We've got .gov, we've got the Air Force. Those 1, 2, 3, 4 organic listings are actually not what's being pulled into those link cards in the AI overview answer on the left.
So do we need to do something different to optimize for the AI overviews than the HTML listings?
There is a lot of similarities between what we need to do to rank organically versus what we're seeing based on our analysis start to show up. Some of the reasons we think some of these sites are showing up inside of AI overviews. It's taking into account a lot of things that the algorithm cannot. Things like brand sentiment, reading things online. Google has a partnership with Reddit now. It's able to go and source opinions and information from a platform like that, which is not something the algorithm can necessarily do. So, really understanding the context behind why things are showing up is important to understand the strategy.
So now the $1 million question, how do you get placed in AI overviews? Now for me, that's half of the equation. The other half is just knowing what's being said out there. So it seems like it's really important for brands to be thinking about what's being said, what's being served, how are you monitoring that? And then what are some things that are ideas that could be helpful for getting placed in the AI overviews? Also, just a quick disclaimer here, all of this is brand new, but it is based off of some analysis that we've done at Ignite Visibility which we feel correlates with getting into AI overviews. So we're going to talk about that next.
So, a lot of the similarities, a lot of the overlap between optimizing for organic and optimizing for AI overviews comes from really understanding your user and making sure that you're creating helpful, good quality content for them. So, are you optimizing for user intent? Are you leveraging structured data markup to make sure that your content that you have on site has all of the appropriate information? So, when Google crawls it or the LLM crawls it, there's more context there for them. Prioritizing page speed and mobile optimization for user experience, having that really high quality comprehensive content so you become that brand authority, especially if you're worried about what your brand is saying and how it's being understood by LLMs, and then building out a diverse high quality backlink profile. We've seen that be one of the larger items that's impacting sites is where Google is getting the sources from. So Other places online off of your website that are talking about you, what are they saying? Because a lot of the time, that's what the AI overview is referencing in those cards.
So AI is crawling the web, and they're looking for all the references for your brand and your keywords around the web. And then they are making a decision and coming up with information based off of that. So what's so important is that you have all the information that AI needs to make the decision available. You should have a web page on your site that talks about all your awards, all the things that's credible for you around a specific query. You should also make sure that all of the different references of your brand out there online tell the same story that you would like to have said around your keyword and around your brand. And if you don't have that presence online, if you don't have it on your website, if it's not out there around the web, you're not going to show up inside of Google's AI overviews because Google and AI, they're going to be telling a different story. They're going to find a different story. They're going to deliver a different story. So, what's so important is that you actually submit to AI the information that they need to know and make sure that they're aware of it. And in addition to that, these different references online speak to that. So, that's the way to think about it. And in general, that helps, but also making sure that all the communities that are out there make sure that they're also saying things in a way that would make sense for you. In the next couple slides, we're going to talk a little bit more about that and talk more about how, it's a little bit beyond SEO. It's more about a cohesive view around a keyword or around your brand or a topic around the web. So what are some things that we found to work in this new world of AI overviews?
We've seen content generation and optimization. That's something we already do on the SEO side, but being able to use AI tools, LLMs to get an understanding of your brand, what do they know, what don't they? And then what information can we take from that and say, okay, if they don't understand it, does my customer understand it? And include that in our content strategies. Being able to look at multimedia content, AI overviews inside of SGE when they were beta testing, they became very rich results. So images, videos, Perplexity does a lot of that. ChatGPT pulls some of that in as well. So, what do you have out there that's related to you that is in multimedia? Community management is a really big opportunity. I think when we're talking about AI overviews or any LLM model being able to go and read everything about you inside of something like Reddit, a really open source platform, what are they saying there, and what are you doing about it to change that sentiment if it's something that you need to understand? Review generation, same thing, really big opportunity there too. Reviews have always been really important in the consumer journey, but with AI overviews, Google's trying to recreate this kind of word of mouth by saying, here's what a bunch of people have said about this thing. So, what are the reviews that are out there? Have you taken initiative to try to improve them in any capacity? Have you looked at them? Do you know what sources it's pulling from? Because sometimes I think we've been finding it's not always the review platforms that are typical, it's some that you might not even know exist.
What's going on with AI overviews and shopping ads?
Yeah, a lot of advertisers are also asking themselves if there's going to be an opportunity for them to show up in AI overviews. And this was an insight that came out of Google Marketing Live where they said, yes, they will now be showing shopping ads within AI overviews if it is relevant for the query and the user journey of the searcher. What do advertisers need to do in order to land their ads in these spaces? Lucky for you, nothing. If you're already running a search, shopping, or PMAX campaign, again, if it's relevant, Google will just place you within that AI overview.
So we run a lot of ads here at Ignite Visibility, and if you're a client or a prospect and you're curious about this, your ads will actually start being placed in this. And we could see them come in more and more inside of AI overviews in general. And it's going to be interesting to see how that fully rolls out, to see if there is an AI recommendation or some insights around a keyword or a brand and where the ad actually shows up. But you can expect that to happen over the next 6 months. So keep an eye out. So, one of our core values at Ignite is first to market and embrace change. And one of the things that we see being really important is brands understanding what the conversation and what the SERPs look like as far as AI overviews. If you ask these AI systems about your brand or about your keywords or for a recommendation, are you being served and are you being served in a positive light? That's the most important thing right now is to at least start by getting visibility on that. So, Jen, talk to us a little bit about our generative engine optimization service.
We're really excited about this. It's really interesting because it is so new. And there's a lot. We talked a lot about Google AI overviews, but there's ChatGPT, there's Copilot, Gemini, Perplexity is another tool that's competing in the same way. But what is being said about your brand by every LLM? What are they all saying? Because they all could say something different. So understanding that to give the context. What are they saying about your competitors and the keywords that you're trying to rank for? What's the comparison? Like, what are they saying about you versus someone else? What is some topic overview? How is it interpreting your industry and your business and your vertical? Because if that is the reference that customers now have, what is the sentiment that you need to provide as a brand? How does that change your messaging? Looking at cited sources is another really big one, especially on the digital PR side. When we're doing that competitor research, if your competitors are getting links from different review sites and you're not there, being able to use that to fuel something like list building and list building opportunity, and doing that outreach to try to get those placements. Or keyword research, looking at Google SGE and what shows up there for AI overviews, what is generating those responses, and then how are you tracking them? How are you putting visibility around them so you can really understand how SERP is changing for your searches?
So if we know that brands are getting AI overviews, and that's happening because they're getting reviewed by certain publications, they're listed on certain sites, they have certain types of content, what can we do with that information to help brands show up positively in AI overviews, Jen?
So we can take all of that and start to really understand where are the gaps in your content? Where are the gaps inside of your user's journey, whether that's on the website or happening offsite as well? What's happening inside of some of those review platforms? How are you being talked about inside of spaces like Reddit? And then let's make recommendations and suggestions for how we can better optimize your site, but then also really think about what's happening offsite. I think that's a really important part of the strategy.
Danny, what are your final thoughts on AI overviews?
I think AI overviews are a great way for users to digest content in a new way. And it's going to be really interesting to see if this also changes the way that Google's search and use Google. I think traditionally in the past, we were very used to doing shorter tail keyword searches on Google, very direct, and then just refining your search. And now Google's kind of shifting to having users do these longer tail, more specific queries. So it'll be really interesting to see how search behavior changes over time, and as we adapt to these AI overviews and the new revolution in search, right?
Jen, final thoughts.
AI integration into the customer journey in general is really exciting and interesting. I think it moves so quickly. It's going to be very different when we talk about this in 6 months. And I think every platform is just going to get smarter and figure out how to integrate it differently. So, a lot of opportunity, though, if you go and you really understand what's going on around your brand, your terms, a lot of the stuff we've already talked about. I think there's a lot of insight to be taken away because you now have this new thing to look at that's never existed and is constantly changing. So really excited about it.
Jen and Danny, thank you so much. We are already getting leads and people reaching out to Ignite Visibility because they have asked who is a good option on AI. This is going to be, in my humble opinion, a point for decision making in the future. There will be some level of consumers who will be asking questions around your brand, around your competitors, around your keywords. It's a very important time to make sure you're putting your best foot forward for AI in the areas that it's evaluating on the web. If you would like help with a AI overview sentiment analysis, please reach out to Ignite Visibility. We'd be happy to help you. Thanks so much for joining today. We'll see you soon.